We are continuing with the original book, How to Date Young Women. I will be reading from the new updated version. Doesn't say this down here yet. Just says I'm not allowed to resell this. This is a thicker book. Much more information than the original, updated for the 21st century. Today, I'm going to be reading Understand Her. Each chapter begins with a picture that sets the tone. I describe the unsettled life and troubled times of a typical 20-year-old who can become interested in dating a man. When you understand her, you only need to know on average, younger ones are worse in every way, better in none. The older ones are better in every way and worse in none. This is from a guy who advocates dating young women, 20-year-old. If they're older, they're better. If they're younger, they're worse. That's the essence of that paragraph. Worse meaning harder to talk to, harder to go out with, harder to get along with. The ideal woman's 22, but we'll get to that in a minute. Double the general disarray of this 20-year-old's life for a 19-year-old. Think about that. The disarray of a 20-year-old's life is doubled for a 19-year-old. For an 18-year-old, quadruple it. If she's still in high school, it's off the chart. If she has a baby, it's beyond the chart. For each year past 21, her problem is reduced by 25%. Think about that. Every year she drops a quarter in her problems. A 23-year-old living away from home has eliminated 2/3 of the 20-year-old's problems. That's if she has no kids. With even one kid, she has 20 times more problems than a 16-year-old. I didn't make these statistics up. They're out there in the real world. A couple of years out of high school, her whole world falls apart. Friends move away or move in with a boyfriend. Some even marry and have kids. Others stay at college all year. She's standing with one foot in the teenage world and the other in the adult world at 20. A female of 22 retains all the good qualities of being young, but has discarded most of the baggage and burdens of youth. With her enlarged sense of self, she's simpler to deal with, requires far less time and energy on your part, initially and throughout the affair. But I had to find out for myself about 18-year-olds. I had one good 18-year-old, she's in the book. Her name is Tina in the book. The typical 20-year-old, she lives with a couple of roommates, but only recently left home. She's never lived with her boyfriend. She has a job or is going to college. She has a car. She doesn't have a drug problem. She may have had an abortion. The odds are 80-20 against it. Her IQ is slightly above average. She gave her first hand job at 15, lost her virginity at the junior prom. Her best sex was some guy she picked up one weekend in Palm Springs. He was 26, but he never called her like he said he would when they got back to LA. She smokes marijuana and snorts coke and sometimes does a couple of bumps of meth at parties. She's had the same boyfriend for a year and a half. He's 23. He still lives with mom and dad and has a menial job sometimes. To really understand her, get your fogged up memory working. Think back 20 years, what it was like being powerless. What it was like to only have a few dollars. What it was like thinking everyone is watching me. What was it like not knowing what you were doing, having to bullshit your way through? Remember what an asshole you were at 20. Remember how totally cool you pretended to be, acting like you knew all about life and love. She's no different. Conflict and confusion, situation normal. She's internalized most values our culture sanctimoniously preaches, but she's beginning to notice widespread hypocrisy. She's questioning the rationality of some ideas and is considering the possibility that many rules for behavior are wrong, not just for her, but for all of society. Strong conflicting emotions generated by her own mutually exclusive values and goals cause even more powerful moods to come and go without warning. She often feels out of control and compensates for that by believing in a self-contradicting blend of rules and brainwashing done by the 4 Ps: parents, preachers, professors, and politicians. She's trying to become the woman she has tacked up on the wall inside her head. Comparing herself to that ideal every day, she finds herself lacking. She's confused about life, love, sex, marriage, babies, career, parents, boyfriends, lovers, and so on and on and on. Her life is a jumble. Unsettled about the future, she decides once and for all, at least twice a month. She's insecure because of her lack of knowledge, experience, power, money, and independence. When comparing herself to other young women, she sees only their facades of self-confidence. Having no idea her friends are just as uncertain, she feels isolated and alone. The more insecure she is, the more she covers it up. She appears aloof, cool, and sophisticated, especially to you, the older guy. Younger guys might know she's faking it, but they don't care. And they're not impressed either. Thoughts and feelings arise from nowhere. She wants to stab her dad and choke her 13-year-old sister because the brat gets to do everything she was forbidden at that age. She feels sick for wanting to squeeze her coworkers' big tits. Guilt arises when announcing she doesn't go to church anymore. After rubbing one off, she wonders if God was watching her masturbate. Sometimes she's so terribly lonely, she seriously considers killing herself. To her, there's no reasons for these feelings. Her problems seem monumental. She has no idea it's normal late adolescence dues paying. She has no perspective from which to judge. For months, she knows what she is and what she wants. Then suddenly she has a change of heart. No longer does she want to be a Cosmo girl. She wants to be a trendy teener again. 6 weeks later, she changes her image to hipster in training. After working in office for half a year, she realizes how hard it is to make money. She goes to a romantic movie with Jimmy on the weekend. They talk about getting married. She decides she'd like to stay at home and have an ivy-covered cottage and raise 2 kids. She believes that if she does just the right things, eventually she'll be rewarded. When she meets a male in society's acceptable age range, she sees only a potential husband. She and her counterparts believe in the nuclear family and want to be the center of one someday. The difference is, in her family, everyone will be happy. She thinks she can make it happen just like you and I did. Never argue or try to convince her she's wrong about this belief or any other thing she believes in. Only say what you think if pressed severely with a knife point to your throat. Be diplomatic. Even then, it's not useful to debate with her. Life and your part of life will eventually prove how ridiculous and hypocritical most of our culture's rules, traditions, and gender-specific goals are. The self-concept she developed from age 6 until she started her period is lurking in the background. At 20, her new self is partially solidified, but it's in constant jeopardy as she confronts more and more of what the adult world has to offer, including you. Under stress, she turns into a brat of 11 you'd love to strangle, or a frightened 5-year-old you have to hold on your lap. She feels like a failure from 8th grade on if she does not have a boyfriend. Even if she has a boyfriend, that doesn't mean she won't have an affair with you. It only means he ensures she won't be teased by other girls and she won't have to stay home on Saturday night. How do I know all this? Because I had to deal with these young women because I like them. They're my favorite creatures on the entire planet, young females. God bless them. She wants to be independent, but fears being alone. She was raised to be a virgin when she married, but does it all the time with Jimmy. She dreams of being rich and famous. She enjoys pretending she's an adult, but likes to be babied. So do I. Nothing wrong with that. Baby me, baby. She and most of her friends, male and female, have whacked out parents, neurotic parents, dying parents, divorcing parents, Jesus freak parents, alcoholic parents, possessive parents, neglecting parents, or molesting fathers and brothers. She wants out. O-U-fucking-T, out. She wants out. She hates her job. It's menial and boring. Her boss teases about taking her on a business trip, and he keeps wanting to rub her back. Her friends are only fair and good weather. Debbie, her best friend, was kissing Jimmy at the party last week. but she needs friends to think she's cool. She wants to make lots of money spending on cool clothes, cool cars, cool travel, on being totally cool. She and her counterparts are superficial not because they are genuinely phony, but because the world is still a bit too big for them. She's experimenting with life, testing herself to see how powerful she really is. At the same time, she's searching for a stable identity, choosing and re-choosing marriage or college, getting a job or moving out, or staying at home and doing nothing. It's a time of stress and pressure you have forgotten. To her, the strain is real, even if to you it's lightweight, solvable stuff. When she meets you, she suspects you're married and lying about being divorced. She considers herself sophisticated for being suspicious. She's trying to become the person she's going to be, and you're trying to unbecome the person you already are.